Hi guys, I am Roshana Begum. Today I will discuss with you historical background of the Indian Constitution. Let's start. Historical evolution of the Indian Constitution.
There are various layers in the background of the Indian Constitution. Number 1, Regulating Act 1773. Number 2, Pitt's India Act 1784. Number 3, Charter Act of 1830. Number 4, Charter Act of 1833. Number 5, Charter Act of 1853. Number 6, Government of India Act 1858. Number 7, Indian Councils Act 1861. Number 8, India Councils Act 1892. Number 9, Morley Minto Reforms 1909. Number 10, Montague Chelmsford Reforms 1919. Number 11, Government of India Act 1935. Number 12, Indian Independence Act 1947. These acts were in some way instrumental for the development of the Indian Constitution.
History of Indian Constitution Regulating Act 1773.
Number 1. First time the British Parliament resorted to regulating the affairs of the East India Company. Number 2. The Governor of Bengal was made the Governor General of Bengal. Number 3. An Executive Councils of the Governor General was created with 4 members. Number 4. Centralized the administration with the presidencies of Madras and Bombay being made subordinate to the Bengal Presidency. Number 5. Supreme Court was established at Calcutta as the apex court in 1774. Number 6. Prohibited company officials from engaging in private trade and from accepting gifts from India.
History of Indian Constitution Pitt's Indian Act 1784.
Number 1. Commercial and political functions of the company separated. The court of director managed the commercial activities while the board of control managed political affairs. Number 2. The company territories in India were called British possession in India. Number 3. Governors' councils were set up in Madras and Mumbai as well.
History of Indian Constitution Charter Act 1830.
This act ended the East India Company's monopoly over trade with India, except in tea and opium. Trade with India was open to all British subjects.
History of Indian Constitution Charter Act 1833.
Number 1. Governor General of Bengal was designated the Governor General of India. Number 2. The legislative powers of the Bombay and Madras presidencies were removed. Number 3. This act ended the commercial activities of the company and it was transformed into an administrative body.
History of Indian Constitution Charter Act 1853.
Number 1. The legislative and executive powers of the Governor General is Council were separated. Number 2. A central legislative council was created of 6 members, out of which 4 were appointed by the provisional governments of Madras, Bombay, Agra and Bengal. Number 3. The Indian Civil Service was opened as a means to recruit officers for administration through open competition.
History of Indian Constitution Government of India Act 1858.
Number 1. After the 1857 revolt, the rule of the company was ended and the British possessions in India came directly under the British Crown. Number 2. The office of the Secretary of State for India was created. He was assisted by a 15-member Council of India. Number 3. The Indian administration was under his authority and the Viceroy was his agent. The Governor General was designated the Viceroy as well. Number 4. The Court of Directors and the Board of Control were abolished.
History of Indian Constitution, Indian Councils Act 1861.
Number 1. Indians were given representation in the Viceroy's councils. 3 Indians entered the Legislative Council. Number 2. Provisions were made for the entry of Indians in the Viceroy's Executive Council also as non-official members. Number 3. Portfolio system was recognized. Number 4. Decentralization initiated with the presidencies of Madras and Bombay being restored their legislative powers.
History of Indian Constitution, Indian Councils Act 1892.
Number 1. Indirect elections bracketed nominations were introduced. Number 2. Legislative councils expanded gave more functions to the legislative councils such as the discussion of budget and questioning the executive.
History of Indian Constitution, Indian Councils Act 1909, bracketing Morley Minto reforms.
Number 1. Direct elections to the legislative councils were introduced for the first time. Number 2. Central Legislative Council became the Imperial Legislative Council. Number 3. The members of the Legislative Council was increased from 16 to 60. Number 4. The concept of the separate communal electorate was accepted. Number 5. For the first time, an Indian was made a member of the Viceroy's Executive Councils, bracketing Shutrendra Prasad Sinha, law member. History of Indian Constitution, Government of India Act 1919, Montague, Chelmsford reforms. Number 1. Central and provincial subjects were separated. Number 2. Diarchy was introduced in the provincial governments with executive councillors being in charge of the reserved list and the minister in charge of the transparent list of subjects. Number 3. The ministers were nominated from among the elected members of the legislative council and were responsible to the legislature. Number 4. A bicameral legislature was introduced for the first time at the center. Number 5. This act extended the right to vote, and with this about 10% of the population acquired voting rights.
History of Indian Constitution, Government of India Act 1935.
Number 1. Annual India Federation was proposed, which would consist of British India and the princely states. This never materialized though. Number 2. Subjects were divided between the centre was in charge of the federalist, provinces in charge of the provincial list, and there was a concurrent list which both created two. Number 3. Diarchy was abolished at the provincial level and introduced at the centre. Number 4. More autonomy was accorded to the provinces, and in 6 out of 11 provinces the bicameral legislature was introduced. Number 5. A federal court was established and the Indian Council abolished. Number 6. Burma and Aden were severed from India. Number 7. This act provided for the establishment of the RBI. Number 8. This act continued until it was replaced by the new Indian Constitution.
History of Indian Constitution, Indian Independence Act 1947.
Number 1. India was declared independent and sovereign. Number 2. The viceroy and the governors were made constitutional bracketed nominal heads. Number 3. Set up responsible governments at the center and the provinces. Number 4. Assigned both legislative and executive powers to the Constituent Assembly of India.
Like, share, and subscribe on my YouTube channel. Thank you.